Good afternoon. My name is Dayle Rodriguez. This show is called Flabonga Monthrothacube. Oh, it's not gonna get me. This show is called Flabonga Monthrothacube. Thanks, Nick. And with me today, I have Lara Manton.
Hi Dale. Hi everyone. Thank you for not making me say that for starters.
First of all, if I had the power to make people do what I want, I wouldn't waste it on making them say stupid stuff. I'd rule the world by now. Fact. I'd be a supervillain. Second of all, would you like to give it a go? No judgment, no laughter.
Flabonga Monthrothacube.
Again, you did just as well as me. I think I need to keep track on this. I think this might be the 50th episode, or last week was. I don't know, but essentially this is like a milestone episode. I've done about
Wow.
50.
Well,
Yeah. So yeah.
thank you for having me on for your milestone episode. That is very honoured. I'm very honoured.
I say that I haven't been counting. It might be like the next one, or it might be the one before this. But anyway,
You're just saying that to everyone now, aren't you, to make us feel special?
Was it someone told me recently at work? None of us are special. And that was someone who's more senior than me in the organisation, by the way. So yeah.
Okay, that's a nice way to make your team feel valued. I'm not sure that's the route I'd go down, but
I think they were kind of joking. Anyway, thank you for joining me. For those who don't know you, because you're quite prolific in the accounting and bookkeeping space in the UK, but for those who are in other industries, who are you? What do you do? And more importantly, why'd you do it?
So, obviously, Lara says down there. I am an ICB qualified bookkeeper. I've been running my practice for just over 13 years now. So been around in this space for a while before there were LinkedIn live streams and Facebook groups and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Back when we actually did bookkeeping in T-Sheets, Excel, my first client I did on paper, literally. There was a separate computerized exam when I took my exams. That's how long ago we are. Yeah, back when zero was a glint in someone's eye. That's how far back we are. But yeah, so I am ICB certified bookkeeper. I specialise in all things sort of tech. So I try and do as little data admin as possible and as much fun things and playing around with software and getting insights out of software and helping businesses as possible. So I've got about 50 clients based across the UK, up to multi-million-pound turnovers, mostly service-based. But yeah, why do I do what I do? I enjoy it. For a start, I enjoy it. As you said in the thing, I am a bit of a geek and a nerd. I like numbers. I describe myself as a bit of a numbers person. I am a stato when it comes to sports as well.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a
all sports or just specific sports?
Well, if you follow me on social, you know it starts with golf and sort of goes through the things. So golf stats aren't that interesting though.
Golf in itself is not that interesting. Fact.
Well, we need to get you into the LJM Golf Day, don't we, Dale? I can prove the golf is more interesting.
I will drive the ball like a mofo, 300 foot, nice and easy. But any talent required there afterwards, no.
I'm hoping 300 yards, not 300 foot. But they.
Sorry, yards. Sorry, got the complete wrong system. Very embarrassing.
Yeah. Rugby, cricket. Don't really do football. Used to be into my motorbikes as well, MotoGP. Yeah, big cricket fan, big rugby fan, golf, tennis, badminton.
Apologies for interrupting the flow of conversation. I do have to give a shout out to people who are actually watching this. So first and foremost, the first person on the scene was Kirsty. Hey, Kirsty. Kirsty St. John.
Yeah, my lovely Kirsty, my lovely friend Kirsty.
Awesome. Thanks, Kirsty. Thank you for watching. We also have Simone, depends on how you pronounce it, Stayers Jones. Hey, Simone. I'm going to go with Simone. Some people say Simone. I have a colleague who's called Simone. Same name, same spelling, but you call her Simone.
I'd go for Simone.
Yeah. Raquel Flores, she is in Texas. She's awesome. She also does live streams, by the way. I would argue hers are way better than mine because she's just better at it. I recommend you check her out. The only issue is the time difference. She's doing them at midnight our time, 9 o'clock our time. But #team replay, worth a watch.
It's always good.
And no, she hasn't paid me to promo her, by the way. Like, yeah, LinkedIn user. I think I know who that is, by the way. They always
Oh,
appear as
I've seen
anonymous.
those on your previous ones. Is it someone trying to stay incognito? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I don't know what settings they've got. I think I know who it is. But we'll keep the person a mystery. It's fine. Um, Sorry, you're saying so you love stats and geeky nerdy stuff. So, question for you, because I know watching UK sports compared to USA sports, USA they have way more stats and metrics. So, do you watch more American sports than UK sports?
Well, obviously, golf is very big in the US. So both the PGA and the women's, the LPGA. So they obviously are big on their stats. Yeah, they don't do cricket and rugby in the US, and I'm not. Once you're into rugby, I don't quite get the American football thing. And I have sat at Yankee Stadium trying to watch a baseball game, and it doesn't look as good as it does on TV.
Baseball?
Yeah.
Baseball's atrocious. It's a really long game of rounders. It's
Yeah,
equally as
yeah.
boring as cricket, if I'm honest. It's
Like
super long.
if someone's like, it was quite funny because we got back on the subway and there was an Indian family on the subway as well, and they were like, I can sit through a 5-day test match happily. I got bored to death at that. I'm like, yeah.
I have also seen baseball live. I was in Portland, Oregon at the time. Can't remember the name of the team. Sorry, Oregon peeps. And yeah, I was like, this is so boring. The only thing that was good for me is there was lots of really crappy food there. Like I was having like the cliche guy throwing me a hot dog and nuts,
Yeah,
and
big buckets of stuff. And
I even had a foam finger and everything. I was such a tourist. Unbelievable. Um,
like cricket, we have the 4 and 6 cards. The odd
yeah,
foam finger, if you're doing a T20, you get 4 and 6 cards. That's as
yeah,
exciting. Oh, you get beer snakes. You get beer snakes at cricket.
you do. Good shout. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well played. Well played. In your introduction, sorry, you mentioned the ICB, India Charlie Bravo. What is this? Why
So
is it a big deal?
the ICB, obviously accountants, you have the ICAW and ACCA and CIMA and all those kind of things. With the ICB, we have
Are
the
you trying to explain an acronym with another acronym? Is that what you just done?
yeah,
That's like what?
basically. So the ICB is the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers. That's what it stands for. So it's the UK's only governing body just for bookkeepers.
Right, exclusive.
Yeah,
It doesn't
I
say
can
like
see where you thought I was going there, but
yeah, yeah.
so it's not just UK; it is worldwide. But the UK, they have South Africa, Australia, Eastern Europe. I can't remember how many countries we're in, but there's a lot
Lots
of
of
countries.
places.
And it's been going 27 years, I want to say.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
going to ask you a
27
really
years.
loaded question. Why should someone get an ICB certified bookkeeper? What's the difference? Apart from the fees, I assume you cost more.
Well, no, I suppose the thing with the ICB is I'm not sure whether we cost more. It's so ICB are the exams are one of the hardest in the UK for the industry. In that they are designed so that when you pass,
Mm,
you know what you're doing and you can set up a practice.
mm.
So some of the exams have like 90+% pass mark.
Damn.
Yeah. So hopefully, if you get an ICB bookkeeper, you are getting the creme de la creme of the UK bookkeeping industry, who hopefully knows what they're doing. In terms of they've been qualified, they're qualified to different levels. There's a lot of them. So I'm level 3. I'm MICB. There's level 4, which is it's level 4, which is tax, can do corporation tax.
Okay.
There's obviously payroll, self-assessment, various bits within that as well, various add-ons. But it means you're getting someone that has passed an exam, a difficult exam, not an easy exam, has passed a difficult exam, has gone through months or years worth of training in the industry, specifically around bookkeeping, and is doing regular CPD,
Yep.
all the things that the accountants are kind of used to, the ICB kind of add in. So obviously anyone can call themselves an accountant or a bookkeeper, not anyone can call themselves a certified bookkeeper. You have to be an ICB bookkeeper to do that.
Or AAT, right? They also have certification, but we don't talk about them.
No.
I got no beef with them. I just So just so we're clear, for those for the layman's out there, if I get Xero for my business or QuickBooks, I don't need a bookkeeper, right? I can just match and reconcile stuff. I can just post it to where I want, right? I can just do that. What do I need you for?
Yeah, those adverts are really misleading. They're brilliant, but they're really misleading.
How so and why so?
Because they make what a bookkeeper is going to add is, yes, you can match, but you might be matching the wrong thing. So typical thing is things like tax, PAYE, drawings for sole traders. People will go, well, I paid HMRC, so that must be a business expense. Yeah, no, sorry. I can pay myself wages as a sole trader. Yeah, no. So unless you know, someone said to me the other day, you don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
So an ICB bookkeeper knows what you can claim, what you can't claim, how to deal with the things, not just so you're not claiming the wrong things, but so that you're not claiming the things you could be claiming. So if, like, obviously, if we can save you tax, if we can tell you better ways of doing things, if we can show you things that you might not understand, then we're going to help. So that's where the bookkeeper isn't now just data entry, key it into the system. As I said, I hate keying things into systems as much as I can avoid. If it can AI OCR it, brilliant. But there are other
OCR. Mate, just throwing out the acronyms, mate. Just throwing out the acronyms.
Sorry. So I don't know what is it? Optical something
character
recognition. The character recognition. Thank you.
Funny.
So like the scanning apps that are out there that will pick up the information with your date and your amount and whatever else. Yeah. But even those, how do they know if it's got VAT on the bottom of it? It won't. Is it actually reclaimable VAT? Is it reverse charge VAT? Is it all these things?
Sorry, I'm just very excited because you're giving a really good explanation and showing your value, and I love it when people do that. Sorry, please continue.
That's okay. All these things that, like, if you look at an invoice, how do you know, A, where to code it to, B, whether it's reclaimable, and C, whether the VAT's actually reclaimable? There's all these things that a bookkeeper is going to know more than a business owner. So when I started out, and part of my thing is, hopefully as a business owner, you're really good at what you do. So whatever it is you do, you're really good at that. Not a lot of people want to spend time understanding how the bookkeeping works. So why not give it to a bookkeeper who can do it for you better, quicker, more efficient, save you money in the long run, hopefully, and then you can focus on doing what you do best as a business owner.
That's the best sales pitch I've ever heard. That was fantastic.
Yeah, this is the thing. I'm not a salesy person, but I can talk about bookkeeping. I can talk about the things I know.
No, I'm going to ask you a rhetorical question to kind of prove the point as well. I'm not expected to answer. So, operating lease, finance lease on the balance sheet, yes or no? Appear in the P&L, yes or no? Do people know this? Probably not. Does a bookkeeper know this? A good bookkeeper, yes. And the difference it can make. So I usually ask this to some clients when they sign up to KR. I'm like, you can do it yourself, but do you know the answer to this question? And they go, nope. I'm like, that's why I need a bookkeeper.
Yeah. And also, just from that example, what's the VAT reclaim situation on it as well? Because it's an operating lease and it's on rent, you're claiming it monthly. If it's an HP, you might be claiming it in a lump sum. I've had clients where they've missed thousands of pounds worth of VAT reclaimable at a point because they've just assumed it's on the monthly repayment. And it's like, well, actually, you're saying you're struggling for cash. We could have claimed whatever at that stage. And even as accountants are really good. I work with some really good, lovely accountants.
They're all right.
All right. But a bookkeeper bookkeepers and accountants are friendly. Most of the time we're friendly. Some of them we're not, but sometimes. But a bookkeeper is going to be more involved on a day-to-day basis with that business owner.
Sorry, Lucas Dello comment. I'm going to read it out. People who are listening. Bookkeeping is definitely for some special humans. I failed my accounting exams once due to a tequila bender and then reset it remotely from Germany. What?
I'm assuming that's resat rather than reset. But yeah.
Yes, that's probably reset. That makes sense. Thank you. I just read the teleprompter. I'm just the voice in the face. Can I do some quick shout outs very quickly as well? Because there's lots of people watching, which
Yeah.
very rarely happens, by the way. It's usually me, my mum, my cat. So we said Simone, sorry, we said Raquel. So Giles Stead, he is in Australia. So, oh snap, have we got like all the time zones? Well, like, East and West. That's pretty cool. So we've got people in
Interesting.
Texas. Got Jonathan Cohen. He is an awesome accountant. He works with high profile clients, usually entertainment business. He's very cool.
Yeah, and he does some very cool the singing accountant. He does some very cool videos on various things. He's got a very, very good voice.
I've never actually heard him sing, to be honest.
Have you not watched the videos? Does little clips on them. Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay. Good and live and learn. Oh, hold on. Sorry, producer Andrew showed up, hence why things are happening without me touching them. Randy House is also here. He's also in Texas, I believe. Is he Texas? No, I think he's in Texas. But thank you, Randy, for joining us. And again, Lou, they are awesome. They are awesome. So there we go. Sorry, I interrupted the whole flow of conversation just for that.
No, so Jonathan pointed it out. Bookkeepers and accountants can work, I guess, I want to say symbiotically, but that kind of relationship of we can help accountants and we can help clients, and then the accountants can do what they do best as well, and sort of sit on top and review and look at things and do the tax planning and whatever else. Whereas the bookkeepers, we're going to be, with a lot of bookkeepers, myself especially, we're looking at daily bookkeeping, we're looking at talking to clients on a very, very regular basis, understanding what is happening in their business, understanding all the other bits around that. And then also when it comes to year end and you've got that accountant there and the accountant's like, what happened with this transaction and why? Bookkeepers a lot easier. Bookkeepers can understand what happened a lot better than the business owners can understand what happened in some circumstances.
Yeah.
So it makes the accountant's life easier, hopefully, when they're doing. I mean, bookkeepers. There is no limit to bookkeepers. If you've got your level 4s, you can do corporation tax, you can do self-assessment. You can. The only thing we're not legally allowed to do is the tax planning side of things. We can obviously help people reduce their tax bill by the normal means, but we can't do the tax planning side of things. But accountants obviously coming in on that slightly higher overview level, and hopefully if they can do the bit they enjoy. And I don't touch tax because I don't really enjoy tax, so I'm more than happy to sit with a client and deal with all the day-to-day stuff that they don't want to, make sure that everything's processed correctly, tell them who they need to pay, save them money, make systems work better, give them the information they need to run their business, and then the accountants can do what they do best, and do the tax and the planning and the forward thinking.
The analogy I like to use is bookkeepers are kind of like nurses and accountants are like doctors. They have to work together. And if you've ever been in a hospital as an inpatient or even as an outpatient, doctors great. They give the final say on certain things, but it's the nurses that are there, like doing the original. They're doing the observations, they're doing the injections and the cannulas, all that kind of stuff. That's really important. They give the doctors the stats they need to make certain decisions based on bigger picture planning stuff. So, yeah, that's an analogy I like. You mentioned processes and systems. So my observation, having been in the sector for about 5 or 6 years now, the shift and the requirements of being a bookkeeper/accountant or bookkeeper and an accountant has changed significantly. What position do bookkeepers, in your opinion, need to be in to give advice on systems and processes?
Well, this is the thing. If Gary Carter, our founder of the ICB, sat down at an Inspire tour about, I don't know how many years ago, and when the whole bookkeepers are going to become obsolete, and we're kind of there again with AI, aren't we? Bookkeepers are going to be obsolete. No, we're not. We're not going to be obsolete because, as we've discussed many times, humans know a lot more than robots, and I have robots working in my systems.
For now.
I have robots working. They work to very specific rules. Throw them something that there isn't within that specific rule, they basically crash. And well, Arnie sends me an email like, I don't know what to do with this. Can you look at this, please? Arnie is my robot, by the way.
Thank you for explaining. Did you name him after Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Kanayo. I'm not sure whether I actually named him or whether he just came named Arnie. So,
Terminator 1 and 2 Terminator vibes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe he's there to sort of clear. He's there to clear everything out and give. He has rules and he sticks to the rules, and anything outside of the rules, he's useless. But that's because he's a bot. He's a robot. He's literally he's a bot. He doesn't understand. He doesn't.
No, I was going to make a very sexist joke. That was all.
Okay. I'm glad you didn't. I'm not a petal. You're okay, but yeah.
No, you might not be, but you know, I can get cancelled one day. I'm not even famous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good. Rein it in a bit. But I think that's where bookkeepers don't realise. If you are a data entry bookkeeper, then you're in trouble. If you're a bookkeeper that works closely with a business, helps them to understand how their business runs better, because that's a lot of people, as I say, are good at what they do, but they don't actually understand how their business runs at the moment and what they want it to run like. So is there something in there that you're going to be picking up? You're going to be looking at the numbers day in, day out. You're going to be seeing patterns that maybe the business owner isn't. You're going to be looking at them and they're going to have pain points. And it's a bit like before we were on and you kind of said, oh, I'm venting at you now. Sometimes people need people to vent at or have a sounding board or
don't tell people I was venting. That'll ruin my cool, calm persona. I'm trying to project things here. Don't tell them I vent.
Okay. Well, you were saying you wanted to be more forthright in some regards. So sometimes, not with us, but yeah. So sometimes you're there. Sometimes the role of a bookkeeper is a counsellor, a sounding board, all sorts of things. But equally, you're going to see patterns. You're going to understand a little bit more. And normally we're working with lots of different clients, whether that's in a niche, whether it's across industries, whatever it is. We can take that information and use it across a client base. So if you're seeing a client that's got a really good system running that works really well for them, or a piece of software or something else, you can take some of that information and say, right, okay, you've got a pain point, you're struggling with whatever it might be. Let's have a look and see whether we can make this better so that I get the information quicker, you get the information quicker, your team doesn't have to do whatever manual task it is that they hate. And the business runs smoother. So sometimes we are system and process people as well, not because, I mean, it wasn't what I set out to do, but it's a lot of what I do now is helping people with their systems and processes and saying, look, you've got Xero, brilliant. What else are you using? Why are we just typing things into Xero?
Other cloud software is available.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the BBC, but you need to, some level of agnosticness.
Yes. I'm not really agnostic. As a Xero winner, I can't really be that agnostic.
I mean, I feel like you can. You could take the award and be like, screw you, Xero. QuickBooks for life. No? Yeah. I'd find it funny.
Yeah. Well, I do talk to other softwares, but maybe not use them as much.
I mean, you speaking of your accolades, winner of ICB's Lucra Small Practice of the Year 2021, winner of Xero's Innovative Partner of the Year 2023, named in the Initiative's Top 50 Women in Accounting 2023. You're kind of a big deal.
No? I don't know how I got here. Honestly, this wasn't my intention.
By being awesome. I'm biased. I like your smiley face. I think you're very cool. But there we go. See, look, Josh is behind you as well. Josh from Next Minute. A very cool app, by the way. Next Minute, check it out. Again, they haven't paid me to say that, by the way. I need to get people to pay me to say stuff. I'm getting distracted by your background. You have 4 bags that I can see on screen. Are you a bag lady?
I am. One is my golf bag. One, the purple one just there is my work bag. So that has, if I go to clients, it has a pencil case. It has a stream deck that I take to clients with me. Although I have 2 on my desk, I have 1 in my bag.
It has a what? Sorry,
A Stream Deck.
a Stream Deck. I mean, that's really cool.
So I have a portable one. The black one is actually my golf change clothes bag. So that's, and I'm a bit of a bag. You'll notice that most of them there's a lot of purple going on as well.
You like purple, you like bags.
Yeah.
That piece of art on the wall next to the door, is that a piece of art? What is that?
It's a scratch thing.
Can we take a closer look? Please?
It's geeky. Well, this is where, and there's a dog underneath it, if you can see.
I can see the dog, yes.
So it's the top 100 golf courses in the world. And
right.
I actually need to scratch some of them off because I have actually played some of them.
What's your handicap, by the way?
11.
Oh, damn. You're good.
So trying to get single figures this year.
Yeah, but 11? That's like, damn. That's awesome. How did you get started in golf? Have you always liked it, or did you pick it up a few years ago and actually I'm good at this?
Yeah, so I grew up in a very sporting family. My dad was good at every sport going.
One of those guys.
Could have played badminton for the Commonwealth Games. Good at every sport going.
Damn.
Yeah. So he played football, cricket, golf, squash, tennis. Badminton.
Natural athlete. Got it.
Natural athlete, but a geek. Still a geek, scientist, and
yeah.
Yeah, he was a bit of
let me guess. He's 6'3" and really good looking as well. Good at sports, scientific. He's like the ultimate man, right?
No, 6'3" doesn't happen in my family. When my husband met my brother, he was like, "Yeah, you're all midgets, aren't you?" Like, yeah, 6'3" doesn't happen. But no, so
your dad needs to have some shortcomings. You're making him sound really amazing. Scientist is good at sports. They're two oxymorons. You're either really smart and bad at sports, or really good at sports and not so bright. Them's the rules, okay?
No, so he was good at sport and he was right, and he actually worked in the film industry. He got a job out of university working for Kodak, and this is a job that would be extinct now. He was the person that developed the films, so actually the film in the thing, and
the dark room with the red light and the he was that guy.
So he worked in the film industry for most of his career, but he was a single figure golfer, and my gran was into sport as well. She took up golf at 50 odd after she'd stopped playing county hockey and badminton.
As you do.
As you do. And she was like 4'0", weighed like 7 stone, and was the most competitive person you will have ever met in your life.
Good competitive or bad competitive?
Yeah, a mix. Okay. She wasn't. I suppose I have two sides of my family, so obviously everyone does. But my grandmothers were very different. So I had my nonna, my mum's mum, who was the typical Italian. Let's feed you food. Let's give you sugared almonds. Let's slip a fiver in your hand as you walk out the door. Grandmother. And then I had Gran, my dad's mum, who was lost her husband in the war. Well, my grandfather was a munitions expert and had an asthma attack in a factory and died when she was very young. So she was widowed for a lot of her life. Very kind of, she came from, her grandfather gave Mr. Boot his first loan to start up boots.
What?
Yeah.
Your family history is incredible.
So like her grandfather was mayor of Nottingham, and there's a whole family tree there.
What? Yeah. Sorry, I'm being surprised by all this magnificence and excellence in your family.
Yeah, but she was a very strong lady, but she wasn't like you had to do your homework to get money off her kind of person.
That's how rich people stay rich. They can't just be throwing it away. Like, yeah, fine.
And so that kind of, so she was very, very, I mean, she played tennis till she was 80. She played golf till she was 90. She lived till she was 95. So, yeah. Also very long. Men in my family don't do so well, but women were good. So, so that whole thing of like, she used to go to Trent Bridge when she was a kid to watch the cricket, and she'd have all these stories, and she played sport. So that kind of filtered down through my dad's side of the family. Unfortunately, my dad died when I was really young, but he was a really good golfer. And as I say, so my mum did the thing of taking up golf at the age of a lot of women that take up golf, and I was like 6 or 7, so she was in her like 50s. My parents were quite a bit older, so my parents are. So I took it up with her. So I was 6 or 7 when I picked up my first golf club. I played till I was about 12, 13, had a break. And then when I met my husband, the year after we got married, he decided he didn't want to play cricket anymore on a Sunday because he changed jobs and he's an opening bowler.
Okay.
So he would travel around the league they were in. So they were in the Cams and Hunts League. He could travel for like an hour and a half to a match. He'd bowl his overs and then travel an hour and a half back and then get up at 5 a.m. the next morning to go to work. So he was like, I don't really want to do that anymore. I'm getting a bit old for like the whole thing. So he was like, do you fancy having a go at golf again? So I picked up some clubs and got back into it. And then, so back.
Do you have a better handicap than him?
Yeah. Not by much. So
that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
He's 12.6. I'm 11.0 at the moment. So and he likes playing golf with me. We play quite well as a pair. So we play foursomes, which is alternate shots. So he takes the first one, I do. No. And we're in the semi-finals again of our knockouts this year. Because I hit quite. You're saying like you can hit 300 yards off the tee. I'm long for a lady golfer. I play with men's clubs that are fitted. I went to a fitter and they went, "You're getting men's gloves."
Nice. You heard it here first, people. Lara Manton, hench AF.
No? And I'm long for a lady golfer, so or female golfer. So he likes playing golf with me because basically on par fives, I can probably reach in 2. He can definitely reach in 2. So it makes playing as a match play.
That is really cool. Earlier you mentioned the different sports that you like watching and have stats on. Of all of those, can you pick a favorite? Can you go, this one is bar none, the one I like playing, the one I like watching, the one I like observing? Or is it different for different sports?
It's different. Well, I don't play, apart from golf, I used to play a bit of tennis and badminton. I don't play anything else. Okay. I used to be a cricket scorer when growing up, hence the Stato numbers XYZ, complete with multicoloured pens and the whole there's a whole thing in cricket scoring. So cricket is the one that I love Test cricket. So your guy in Australia who is probably very happy that it rained on Sunday. It isn't. That cricket is my favourite sport to watch. But obviously I am quite vocal in trying to get more younger women involved in golf and sort of stop people stop the whole stereotype. So the funny thing is, I'm probably that old school stereotypical accountant, like that whole, I'll happily do the work on the golf course, I'll sit at a cricket match.
I was going to say, that's where the deals get done. Like, you play golf, you win business. Is what it is.
I've got a couple of things going on with golf around that. But yeah, so I am the opposite of that. But my whole thing is, even with golf, it's got women tend to take up golf in their 50s. Once they've had their kids, they're retired. At the moment, I'm trying to rouse 8 retired people into a match at the moment. It's like the worst thing possible trying to arrange female golf matches.
If they're retired, they've got nothing else to do.
No, I know, but I have, yeah.
It's not like they've got to be at work.
Don't. It's like I move heaven and earth. I move heaven and earth, and they're like, oh yes, but I can't move this because I've got to go every week. I've just tried to move a paying client. It's a problem sometimes. But yeah, so I'm trying to do a bit of kind of turning the tables a little bit and get women to realise that you can be sporty, you can enjoy your sport, you don't have to be quiet about it, you can go out and play golf. It's a really good exercise, really good way to network and meet people because you basically spend 4 hours with someone chatting, which is always good. Hence why I am now arranging an LJ and bookkeeping golf.
I don't know if Lou is messing, but they love a caber toss. Is that the Scottish one where it's like a massive like log where you just kind of like
Yeah,
Yeet that
Highland
mofo.
Games.
Yeah. Um, okay, you mentioned clients, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the work stuff very quickly. When you are looking at a prospect client, what is the one thing they can do that's a bit of a bugbear for you? Like what is it? What's the kind of frustration you get from a prospective client or an existing client that annoys you the
I,
most?
some of it is that whole value thing. I think, as you say, there's a lot of prospective clients out there that are like, that don't understand the value of a bookkeeper and don't understand what a bookkeeper can add. So it's
Mm,
kind of like, oh, our accountant tells us we need a bookkeeper. It's
mhm,
like, okay, but actually, when they start working with you, they realise. Um, yeah, it's always those whole things around communication, around using the systems we give them as well. That's always helpful. You've got the OCR technology. Please email the thing into me. Like you can email it into the system. You can screenshot it into the system. You can drag and drop it into the system. You can take a photo of it. I have got one this week that I'm like, yeah, you've taken a photo of it, but I can't read any of the photos you've taken because they are the world's blurriest photo, or you've managed to chop the VAT bit off the bottom. She was like, well, I can key the number in as well. And I went, yeah, but that's not really the point. And I still can't tell you whether what you put in there is actually what's on there. And it's my name on the VAT return. So I'd like to see it, please.
I am loving the amount of passion you've got right now. I've touched a nerve here. So that really irritates you when clients don't listen to you and when they don't use the systems that you recommend in the right way, in the
Well, I
best
try
way.
and obviously you've got to train clients. You've got to
Yeah.
help them understand. I realise that not everyone's going to like a system or work with a system, or it's not going to fit. Not every system works with every business. So as we said, other softwares are available. Exactly. If there's something that a client hates or can't get on with or doesn't work with them, there's no point trying to push that piece of software. But there are so many brilliant add-ons and so many brilliant things out there. Why would you sit there and do? I've got a client. This again, one that annoys me. And the lovely Josh was perfect for it. I've got a client that will sit there and do spreadsheets and do Excel quotes because he doesn't want to use Next Minute. And I'm like,
How about
oh,
that? Why? So
why
can,
would
can
you
I can,
like make
can I
your
share my opinion on this?
yeah?
And this is controversial. I understand that someone will use a bookkeeper or an accountant as an accessory to their business, an outsourced service, right? On the flip side, if your bookkeeper or accountant was a member of your staff, as in PAYE, and your staff member went to you, sorry, boss, this is a terrible way of doing this. I can save you time and money by doing this. Do it the way I suggest because you've hired me to do this job. You probably that employer would go to that employee. Oh, thank you for that. That's genius. Let's do it. But for some reason, because it's an outsourced function, like you're not in the office day to day, they ignore what you say. And I have a very strong opinion on this. If you go to McDonald's in the UK at 11:30 or 12 o'clock and ask for the breakfast menu, they will say, no, we serve burgers now. And I feel like some bookkeepers and accountants should maybe have that stance on things, in so much as you can use whatever app you want for your business, but ultimately you're coming to me as an expert. I'm not going to give you breakfast off service when it's lunchtime. That's a terrible analogy, but
Yeah,
that's
no,
how I
no,
see
no.
it.
And I am getting better at doing that. I certainly, if someone comes to me and says, I want to use a different accounting software, I will go, brilliant, go speak to. So, for example, the lovely Kirsty
Mm.
and other people out there that I know that I can say, right, okay, I'm not the right person for you because at a minimum you need to be using these two pieces of software to work with.
That leads to the next question. This one's aimed at some of the people in the accounting and bookkeeping space, predominantly in the UK, but it might work for other parts of the world. When it comes to software, Xero, QuickBooks, Sage, heck, even bigger things like SAP, all that kind of stuff, does it really matter? Because am I right in saying a balance sheet's a balance sheets, ledger's a ledger? Should it make a difference? Yes or no? Or is that too cavalier of a
No, no,
question?
honestly, no. Honestly, if it works for the client, it works for the bookkeeper, and you can get the numbers out of it and you can do what you want. The most important thing is functionality. Can it do what you want, or can you have additional apps around it that can do what you want? If it doesn't work for
Mhm.
that client, it's never going to work. So that's where I'm saying there's some clients that absolutely love a specific piece of software, really want to work with it. That's fine, but they're not working with me. So that's where your network. But if it's Sage, if they want Sage and Sage gives them everything they need, and there are certain cases where sometimes some things are better on different pieces of different platforms, then if it works for the business, it works for the bookkeeper, it's giving them the information they need to run their business and do the compliance side of things, then actually no, it doesn't matter what platform they're on.
Yeah. For example, we know that Sage, their payroll function is pretty dope. They have a
Yeah.
stock option that is pretty dope. And we have clients that still are on desktop, but the reason being is the offerings and other softwares are not good for their payroll
Yeah.
or their stock.
But equally, I've got a service-based client that I've just moved. So they provided home care. They were paying for Sage 100. They didn't need that. So it's what is the business type? Because everything that they were doing on Sage, they could do on Xero for a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
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 So if you're in manufacturing, if you need, I worked with a couple of clients last year in that ran mini marts and small convenience stores. They needed that full, really in-depth reporting, really in-depth stock, all that kind of thing. Sage was fine. But then we looked at what can we do to make Sage better in the same way that we would with Xero. So bank feeds. Let's go and get the automated bank feeds set up. Dex Connect. Let's go auto entry. Let's get something set up so that you're still using the most tools that you can whilst still retaining the core functionality of that system that works for you. So that's the thing, is don't just say, I'm on Sage, I can't do anything. Well, no, you can. You can do other things to make that system easier for you, for your bookkeeper, for your in-house team, for whatever it is. And let's go through those and let's look at your systems and processes and say, right, okay, here we go. Let's make your business the best version it can be at this stage by adding on certain things.
As far as bookkeepers go, what is the remit that you believe they should have for advisory on systems and processes? Is it purely financial or should it go beyond the financial?
I think it can go beyond financial because, as I say, you're working with well, in my case, I'm working with business owners very closely. I can see, for example, I've got clients that use Zoho, I've got clients that use Salesforce. I'm involved in some of those processes in those two systems, and I can see certain things that within that can say, okay, well, you're feeling like you're having this pain point. Let's have a look at a different CRM for you. Let's have a look at a different way of working for you, whether that's cloud-based storage systems, whether that's CRMs, whether that's internal processes, all sorts of things, even back-end websites. So if they've got a shop, if they've got e-commerce or they've got a thing on there, right, okay, you've got these problems, you're coming to me with these problems because we're talking about them when we're talking about your books. We're not just talking about your books, we're talking about the systems and the processes. Let's have a look at what else we can make better in your business, and let's take the knowledge that I've got from working with lots of different clients and say, right, okay, let's have a look and let's try out something else. Whether that's moving, I've got one that's moved from Wix to Shopify, whether that's clients moving CRMs, all sorts of things, even just internal messaging systems. I've got clients that are like, well, this isn't working, or things like Asana. I've helped implement Asana in a couple of clients.
Wow, that's a really big implementation. That's not a small thing to do.
Yeah, but because for them, they didn't have any internal communication, any task-based systems, anything like that. Yes, they're using it to communicate with me as well and giving me the task, but that's a fraction of what they're looking to do. Actually, for them, it's how can we make your team and your business work more cohesively together? And we're almost doing it. You can either do it from the accounting system down or from the internal systems up. And let's say, right, okay, I built Zapier links to do Salesforce into Asana tasks. I've done all sorts of things. That doesn't affect me, but it's helped my client massively. So again, value add for the client because I'm seeing their systems and I'm in their system more than an accountant would be.
100% agree with you. I think it is the way forward for bookkeepers and accountants, and it will put some business coaches out of business because often, I said this before and I say it again, business coaches often need the numbers and figures that bookkeepers and accountants produce in order to give advice. Bookkeepers and accountants already have it to hand, generally speaking, in real time. Like they already have it. So yeah, for you to advise on those things and be able to integrate and all that kind of stuff, it makes perfect sense. And I think again that's the stuff that AI can't quite do yet. So yeah. Um, I've also found out recently that there are some students who watch this show, which is really cool. I didn't know that. Um, so I want to ask questions based on them. As
Yeah.
a young person, up and coming, 19, 20, either graduated or just left school, how would someone get into being a bookkeeper, and why would
So
they do it?
so that's where I was.
Okay.
I just left school.
Mhm.
I have a chronic health condition, so I wasn't able to go to university. All my plans kind of went a bit out the window.
Mhm.
And I thought, right, okay, what am I going to do? And as I say, numbers person, I had a part-time job working in a health clinic, and the accountant went, "Oh, I think you'd make a great bookkeeper."
Yep.
Apologies for the fly that will
No,
not go away, by
it
the
just
way.
flew past your microphone. Like, zzz. It's cool. It's cool.
And the dog as well in the background.
Yep.
But yeah, so I one of the great things about the ICB is that you can go down the home learning, flexible learning route. And there are some really good providers out there that do ICB, IAB, AAT qualifications. ICB actually have a Luca for Training Provider of the Year. So if you want to go and check out who's won a few of those, that will give you a good idea.
Mm.
So yeah, so that you can do those qualifications as I did, self-paced learning from home. I haven't actually come across T levels, but there is also apprenticeship routes for some of them.
Just going to read it out for people who are listening. Jonathan Cohen,
So,
are you guys aware of T levels?
so no, I haven't come across them. Have you come across them, Dayle?
Um, I heard it mentioned a couple of weeks ago on someone else's podcast, but no,
Yeah.
haven't heard it until now. So yeah, okay.
So you've got some options out there for looking at qualifications on your own time, on your own basis. I know AAT also does classroom-based training. So you've got different options out there. And the idea is, as I say, with the ICB, is once you've passed your specific level, you can set up in practice. So I was 18, 19
Mm.
and set up a bookkeeping practice.
Right. Do you know what
Yeah,
level that is? Is it level 3, level 2? What
it's
level is it?
so it's level 3 that you
Level
need
3.
now
Okay.
for being. So level 2 gives you the core bookkeeping skills, and then
Yep.
you have to be level 3 at least to do your
To run
do
your
your
show.
practice license.
Okay. Jonathan Cohen explaining T levels, alternative for students to A levels, more vocational option. That's very cool. Um, let's say I really like the way you talk and the way you do business. How do you mentor people? Like, how do I learn from you? Do you teach? Do you train? What's this?
So actually, I signed up for. I've got a little bit of mentoring experience because I signed up as a help to grow mentor. So if you've come across the digital, there's the government scheme. There's two, digital and management. So I
Mhm.
am a help to grow mentor. Although my mentee sort of changed roles and then disappeared off the face of the earth. But anyway, so I've done a little. In order to do that, you kind of have to go through various things to make sure that you are the sort of person that could be a mentor, and they do
Yep.
some mentoring things for you. So I've done some mentoring. I have, if you're an accountant or bookkeeper, I have various power hours as well. So
Power hour.
yeah,
So it sounds really cool. It
is
reminds me
that
of the Marvel Action Hour from like many years ago. Like it was Iron Man, Spider Man, and do you remember that?
no, no,
Sorry,
no.
please continue. The Power Hour.
It's a bit like, well, in golf we have this thing called the Rolex hour. So Sky do this thing called the Rolex hour because it's sponsored by Rolex.
Right.
But basically they have no adverts during that whole hour. That's how what they do on theirs. There you go. TV without adverts. And we're not used to that unless you're watching streaming services. But yeah, so you can book in. I've done some work with different bookkeepers and accountants on either a specific topic. So I did one this week for helping an accountant who hadn't used Stripe before
Mhm.
and wanted to help their client integrate Stripe, integrate potentially their website with Xero, but also learn about how they were going to price for that service. So they wanted to know more of what was involved in reconciling a Stripe account, best ways to deal with Stripe, best practices, and how they were going to price that for them. So I've got a couple of different power hours. I do a lot around pricing. I'm a big one for transaction and value based pricing because I use a lot of tech. I was basically on hourly pricing, shooting myself in the foot.
Yep.
But a lot of accountants don't think about how they can price bookkeeping if they're indeed doing bookkeeping, or bookkeepers don't understand the granularity you can go into when pricing so that you're avoiding scope creep and all these kind of things. So I do one around pricing, I do some around zero, I do processes and systems. So again, businesses can come to me. So a couple of people might have seen my LinkedIn post this week. I discovered that by becoming an Expensify partner, I can save my client, which is free, and you get training and various other things and access to the system for free and all the rest of it. I could save my client 50% off the subscription they were already paying.
Yep.
And then by integrating it into Xero, it looks like we're going to be able to save them quite a lot of money on VAT, or reclaim an awful lot of VAT that they were missing. And this is a client that I've been helping. They've actually got offices based in Luxembourg and Singapore. So talking of time difference, I've been having calls with Singapore at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Training their internal person to work Xero and to give them that access, so that, as I say, they're a multi-million pound multinational corporation, but they didn't have someone that was a Xero expert to help them. So I'm helping them with that. And also I'm doing that with a couple of accountants. I'm helping mentor some of the people in their systems, some people going through ICB exams, all those kind of things. So there are various ways to kind of work with me. And I also work with a couple of software providers on an ad hoc basis to help them.
Oh, which one? Are you allowed to say, or is that an NDA type dealie?
Well, so you were saying, so the ICB do software accreditations. So when there's a really interesting piece of software that they do, I've done 4 of them. So next minute, the lovely guys there, the Approval Max, and the latest one I've done, and I'm still working with quite closely, is Apron. So if you saw me at the Digital Accountancy Show, I did a talk on Apron.
You did. You mentioned Apron.
Yeah, but also other pieces of software that are interested in looking at how they can help bookkeepers, not just accountants, and kind of get the word out there. So some of the more advisory-based guys, I have some pretty regular chats with as well.
That's very cool. Again, I'm going to say it again, you're a big deal. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. Do you have any questions for me? Because I've fired off a ton of questions at you. That's like, boom, 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 boom.
I mean, what do you see? You work in a big accountancy practice. I know you're not an accountant, and you love to say you're not an accountant.
Very important.
But what do you see the kind of other side of it, of the accountants working with bookkeepers?
So our firm has an outsourced bookkeeping team. So the relationship is really, really good. We're all in the same company. And you're right, they work together very, very closely, because when it comes to that granularity about what was this transaction, generally speaking, it's someone in the same office. And we have what we call client care teams. So you'll find the same bookkeeping person or team member is with the same accountant, whether that's senior or junior, and they work on that client together. And the general idea is that we have 3 points of contact for our clients, whether that's a senior, a partner, semi-senior, or the bookkeeper, or wherever it is. But essentially those people kind of know that client really, really well, from the base level bookkeeping entry day to day to the tax planning crazy, depending on how large the client is, where we can move that money around in the accounts to make it work legally. So to answer your question, yeah, we offer that service. And I think one of the things KL's been very good at is stamping out some of the snootiness between accountants and bookkeepers. There's been snootiness in the past. Oh, I'm an accountant, I won't do any bookkeeping. And some of our offices, we've got people who are hybrid roles. They will do some of the bookkeeping, and they're also accountants, and which is really great for workflow, because they'll know what's going on when they're doing the accounts. Like, oh, I did some of that processing, I did some of that bookkeeping, I know exactly what's going on and why that's sat in the accounts the way it is, because I did it. So there, not all of our staff like that, but some are hybrid. So did I actually answer your question, or did I just waffle?
No. I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think there's definitely a synergy of working with firms, and I know a lot of bookkeepers that will work with accountancy firms and recommend two-way street, whatever it is, if an accountancy firm doesn't have their own bookkeeping department. And I think as long as you're valuing the bookkeeping, I've taken on clients where the accountant was doing the bookkeeping and they were a big firm, and it's like, yeah, you just cash coded everything, didn't you? And it was like $6.5 grand of VAT back later.
What's wrong with cash coding everything? What's cash coding? For the
in
people at home.
In Xero and other pieces of software, you can just tick and basically clear everything without any paperwork.
It's great.
And Yeah, which is fine. But the accountant, for example, the accountant had been doing this. This client is a lettings student lettings business. They take all of their income via Go Cardless, and the accountant hadn't realised that Go Cardless had then become VAT registered. So they had been putting all the Go Cardless fees without VAT. And then when we undid and redid a year's worth of bookkeeping, they got £6.5 grand worth of that back.
I mean, that's not a small chunk of change. That's that's helpful.
No. So this is the thing: is that if you're an accountant, you need to value the bookkeeping, and it sounds like KR do, which is brilliant. But there are some accountants out there who would be better off working with an ICB bookkeeper to help them and their clients.
We get it. You love ICB. We get it. All right. All right.
I sit on an advisory council. I have to say no. I don't.
Where's Amy Copeland when you need her? Is she busy? Is she
I know.
This?
We need brilliant.
Is she paying you for this? Like
No. Or neither is Elizabeth Carter either. Our wonderful new marketing manager, the great Elizabeth, who has come across from being at a software provider and is now working with the ICB. No, I think that's the thing with a bookkeeper in general, because as you say, if you've got a good bookkeeper, they're going to be saving you time and money, whatever that looks like in the long run, whether that's efficiencies, whether that's tax, whether that's VAT, whether that's actually making sure that your accountant can plan things properly.
Plug away, smiley face.
No, I suppose that's the thing. As I say, I set up at 19 with no idea what was out there, 18, 19 with no idea what was out there, not realising that there were bodies like the ICB. I didn't have to be an accountant. I never wanted to be an accountant. I could do what I wanted and build a business that somehow has turned into this thing that's quite a bit bigger than me now. Well, it's me, but it's bigger in the world of bookkeeping.
It's bigger than you. It's bigger than you.
It's bigger than me.
It's all about you.
So there's what I want people to realise, and I've done it while having a health condition, and people do it while having families or whatever else is out there. There is this brilliant opportunity to build a business that you want within the ICB, and that's the other thing that I love about the ICB is you can build your bookkeeping practice to help your businesses.
This program is not sponsored or endorsed by the ICB. Other training providers are available.
Yeah, my experience is, I should say, in my opinion. Do you want me to preface everything with in my opinion?
It's all right. I'll send my invoice to Amy. This has been the best advert of all time for the ICB.
But you can do what you want. As I say, I don't do tax. I do VAT. Don't do payroll. Don't do tax. But I have built a successful bookkeeping business because I have that
hard work and determination.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Thank you. But you can do it however you want. Whatever you want your bookkeeping business to be, you have the ability, and you can have the support and the background and the training and the whatever else you want. So there's a guy in our group, the lovely Terry, who is part of the ICB branch, and he loves tax. He loves self-assessments. Yeah. So loads of people will refer all their self-assessment clients to Terry because he would watch this and say, you're talking a completely different language to me, but he loves tax. So he's built a practice all around doing self-assessment. Absolutely fine, absolutely brilliant. Penny, how lovely.
Shots fired by Penelope. Penny.
So you can build. There are so many options out there for building a bookkeeping practice, and bookkeepers are as great as accountants.
The rest. R.I.P. Tina. I'm gonna do something I don't usually do because we've got 2 minutes left. Does anyone who's still watching this, because I know people usually watch the beginning and then kind of trail off. If you're still with us, do you have any questions for Lara directly? I'll wait a few seconds because there's usually a delay. Yeah. Hopefully they're nice questions and not ridiculously hard. But do you have any questions for the guest, for the person who's no pressure?
Shall I bring the cute dog in while we wait for questions?
Please bring the cute dog in. Lara, I don't know if you realise this, but you've been given a title. Did you see that?
Yeah, I've just seen that come up. So this is Archie.
Archie. Archie's very cute.
How old is Archie? Archie is 11 and he is a coton d'Italia.
Oh, what now?
Exactly. Royal Madagascan Terrier. And he's just had his haircut, which is why he's normally fluffier than this, but he's just
goofy. Yeah.
So,
I like his temperament. He seems very chilled.
He is. He's basically you in dog form.
Thanks. I mean, he's a lot whiter than me.
Yes, I meant temperament-wise.
Jonathan Cohen's coming in strong with the questions. Question, Lara, what's 2 + 2?
Is that the level of the thing? Yes, yes.
He's the only one who's asked the question so far.
Yeah, yeah. We're going for whatever you want it to be, Jonathan. What are we talking about now?
What else?
The basic answer is 4, but what would you like me to expand on?
Let's not expand on that. It's been an hour. It's been awesome having you on. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to hit the end broadcast button now-ish, so this finishes in like 2-3 seconds.